Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Okay, Hebrews, check this out. You know, it's a whole lot done developed since we Israelites broke the covenant. And it's like, after we broke the covenant, man, all kind of like, mythologies sprung up. And all this stuff basically come from the Canaanite culture, because we know in covenant history, when Almighty Yah created man, our father Adam and our mother Eve, and we kind of know it was a serpent. He mentioned another being, you know what I'm saying, tricking our mother. And as you go on, the creator, the sons of Yah going to the daughters of man. You know what I'm saying? I think them gonna be your first hybrids right there. All right, and then after that, Noah's sons, Ham, Shem, and Japhet. After the Creator had destroyed, the population. I guess to get rid of them hybrids, and then Prophet Noah and his sons come about, and then they lineage, and then from there, man, you go into the history of Prophet Abraham. And then from Prophet Abraham, it go into Prophet Isaac, and then our father Jacob, who, descendants, got the covenant from Almighty Yah on the proper way, to worship Almighty Yah and how he wanted us to worship him. And then within that contract was laid out with all the problems that the Israelites would be facing from the beginning to the end. And that's, the prophets tell you, man, about the things that the Israelites will be facing with the problems and the spiritual struggle of trying to do right by Almighty Yah, but succumbing to the cultures around us. And how about this? Never in Tanakh history, nowhere in the Tanakh or the covenant contract did Almighty Yah ever tell us to be worried about a Satan, a devil, or Lucifer. Ain't nowhere in covenant history where Almighty Yah told us to be on the lookout for Satan, or Lucifer, or the devil. You got a lot of Israelites running around spooked to death, believing in this imaginary devil causing them all these problems that they in. And hey, I'm here to tell you that we got a misunderstanding of what's going on because of how we left the covenant for Egyptian religion, and how our whole understanding of how things work would be lost because of that. And now we're trying to pick it up because the Creator did leave us with our previous history. Our prehistory, before we got in captivity. And within this history, you don't find nowhere where Almighty Yah telling us to be scared of a Satan or a Lucifer or a devil. Nowhere in Tanakh history have Almighty Yah told us men to be scared of a devil or Satan now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to tell you, Hebrews, what's going on. See, these ain't nothing but hybrids. Satan ain't nothing but a hybrid, this image man of this human with these horns and so forth. This is going to be the Canaanite creation of a prototype of the cherubs. What Almighty Yah created the cherubs, the winged individuals, creatures that served Almighty Yah, and how they are in Tanakh history, and those are going to be, I think, associated with the sons of Yah. And then, how they went into man, what I'm saying, daughters and so forth, and then how that those hybrids, that they produce, wouldn't have no pigmentation, and they done lost their wings by going into the humans and so forth, and man, hey, how about that? The devil, it is gonna be the culture that got us Israelites in bondage. Now that's Satan, that's the devil, that's Lucifer, and it comes from a culture in a people. Our problems can be, traced back to breaking the covenant, and then us suffering from the curses, and then we know that Almighty Yah is responsible for for everything, right and wrong, and that how Almighty Yah is the one that causes right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? Almighty Yah causes evil. You know what I'm saying? Good and evil. And that how it's not no Canaanite culture that or no devil that calls good and evil, and how that good and evil come from Almighty Yah. That's known. That's a understanding, and then that's even in Tanakh history where Almighty Yah is is good and evil. And if good and evil come from Almighty Yah, then it ain't no devil. And that this devil is imaginary, and then all the devil is a hybrid. It's a hybrid. Our enemies wanting to bring back the hybrids that once was around. Man, that's all it is. They want to bring back the hybrids, and the hybrids, man, is what they're trying to create. And the hybrids is in Tanakh history too, and then that's like, the people who we abandoned our heritage to, the Sebhardis, who are Amorites, gonna go back to Babel, and the mixing with the Nephilims, as I show in Tanakh history, how the Amorites was mixed with the giants, and how the giants were the fallen angelic beings, and then those fallen angelic beings mixing with the Amorites and passing their genes over to them, then the Amorites would be the descendants from the fallen cherubs. The fallen angelic beings are Yah's sons, and then those Amorites, those Amorites from Babylon would carry on the Babylonian Canaanite tradition, and then that's where you get those hybrids from. That's like the hybrid in Babylon, the Babylonian God. You know what I'm saying? Did it hybrid on the wall, the Babylon. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, let's see that right there. That's a hybrid. That's a hybrid, and then that's what our enemies are trying to bring back. And then because we know in Tanakh history that Almighty Yah, when He gave us the covenant, that He didn't tell us to be scared of no devil. He told us to watch out for the Canaanite and the Egyptian gods, and not to follow their culture. And those were the two dominant powers. In the past was the Canaanite gods, who were hybrids too. If you look at the Egyptian gods on their walls, they ain't nothing but hybrids. And then the gods in Mesopotamia gonna be hybrids. So that's what the devil is. You know what I'm saying? The devil gonna be a hybrid. And then if you look at him, you see, that's a hybrid, if they, trying to, say that this is some kind of evil power roaming around causing mischief, is a lie, because all our problems can be traced back to us Israelites breaking the covenant, and then Almighty Yah saying that all these evils, would be up on us. You know what I'm saying? Almighty Yah causes evil. Almighty Yah causes good and evil. And when we broke covenant and ran into Africa, then we was gonna get the evil. Let's go look and see what the Tanakh say. The Tanakh gonna say, look, I formed the light. This is Isaiah 45 verse 7. I formed the light and created darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Elohim, do all these things. Now check this out. This is how you know that this is true. Because if you go to Job, let's go to Prophet Job, and you're going to see that it was a son of Yah. You know what I'm saying? I guess they trying to call him Satan or the devil in Job, but how he had to ask for permission from Almighty Yah to get, some stuff started with Job, and then how that, that Almighty Yah put forth his hand towards Job, and that it wasn't the devil, that it wasn't no devil that caused Job his problems and so forth. And then if you read the story, I want to show you, Hebrew, something that how, all right, Prophet Job prayed to Almighty Yah, and then made sacrifices and so forth like that. So he had been part of the covenant contract that was given to the Amorites and those before we Israelites got the covenant. That's like Melchizedek and so forth, who was a servant of Almighty Yah. And then he gonna be probably making sacrifices and atonements, probably the same way that Prophet Job did. And then Prophet Job was in his area, baby, they say us in 2100 BC, and then we know that our father, Prophet Abraham, left them that area, Mesopotamia, and going into the promised land, been a few years after this event happened to Prophet Job. And then how that the Canaanite culture was over Babylon and Canaan and the whole area way before Prophet Job, was probably born, and how Prophet Job would have been a standout guy because, everybody else believed it in the Canaanite culture and so forth. You see what I'm saying? So, Prophet Job was around this time, and then our father, Prophet Isaac and Jacob, was close to around the time that Job was around and so forth. So, we can kind of understand the history and what was going on at that time, and how it was nothing but idol worshippers, and how it was just a few believers in Almighty Yah, and Job was one of those. And then if you look at this from Job, because like I say, in Tanakh history, Almighty Yah is not telling us to worry about no devil or no Satan when he giving us the covenant contract. That's like Almighty Yah didn't tell us about no God's son coming to save us, and how all these things, the devils and Satan and Jesus and God's sons, all this stuff come from our enemies having control over Western culture. And man, that's just part of their culture and they way of being, and that they way of being, it comes from those felon angelic beings that went into Cain descendants, and how that those people are in opposition to Almighty Yah by the culture and so forth. That's expressed. Look, but there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Yah and eschewed evil. See, he feared Yah. And there was born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Now, remember, this is in 2100 BC. That this is at the time where Prophet Abraham was leaving the Mesopotamian area and so forth, and coming into Canaan, and it wasn't too far after our father Isaac was born and so forth. So, that this was during that settings. But, Prophet Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. So, you know what I'm saying? He was the richest because he believed in Almighty Yah. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day. Now listen, everyone his day, meaning that each day his sons them was going to have a feast, and they was going to invite their brothers and sisters to their house. And all they did was party. All they did was party and drink wine. You don't hear about the story about how Job's sons and daughters worship Almighty Yah. And it be that way sometime, how you'll have children and you'll want them to worship Almighty Yah, but they won't and they don't. And Job, children was like that, to where that they daddy tried to make atonements for them, and how that they wasn't making atonements for themselves, and then going to Almighty Yah praying, and how that you just hear about the story about them partying and drinking and stuff. All right. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their sisters, 3 sisters, to eat and drink with them. So each day, each one of them had a party, and all the sisters and brothers went to that house. Now, some Hebrews be thinking that everyone his day, thinking that that's birthday celebration, and how that's wrong, and that the first celebration of a birthday is going to be with Pharaoh, having a birthday when he killed his enemies. All right. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed Yah in their hearts. This did Job continue. See, his sons and them ain't going to be righteous, man. If the father got to say that and wonder if his sons them cursing Almighty Yah, they already drinking and having parties, man, and so forth. Alright. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed Yah in their hearts. This did Job continually. Now, there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before the Elohim, and Satan came also among them. So then Satan gonna probably be some like little lead son of Yah. You know what I'm saying? And the Elohim said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Asking him where he come from. Then Satan answered the Elohim and said, from walking to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Elohim said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth Yah and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Elohim and said, doeth Job fear Yah for naught? Hast not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he had on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth then hand now, and touch all that he had, and he will curse thee to thy face. You see what Satan said, that Almighty Yah put forth then hand now, and touch all that he had. You see what I'm saying? So, good and evil come from Almighty Yah. Good from evil come from Almighty Yah. And even if Almighty Yah, okay, old Satan dude to do something, it come by the will of Almighty Yah. So ain't no devil got no power. No power. So we can't be believing in no devil spirit flying around with some powers and stuff, because everything come from Almighty Yah. Look, and the Elohim said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Elohim, and there was a day when the sons of his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine. See, his sons and daughters, Job's sons and daughters, always eating and drinking wine. So the devil can get after you. He can get after you if you're partying, you high all the time, you under the influence. You know, you just right to be set up for some troubles and stuff because you in trouble. You ain't in your right state of mind. Look, and there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. See, they be going to each other's house, partying and stuff. And and, and there and there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabeans fell upon them and took them away. Yeah, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and only I am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, came another and said, the fire of Yah fell from heaven and had burnt up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. See, look, a fire come from heaven. See, now that's gonna be probably Almighty Yah presence was around on the earth during these times till we Israelites broke the covenant and Almighty Yah withdrew his presence. You know, we know that Almighty Yah and the angels destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be about the same place where Uz at over here. You know, Uz going to be about over here. And Sodom and Gomorrah mean it's going to be about over here too. See. You know, so that's going to be in about the same area. We in the same area. And, alright, let's see. This is good all right. See over here, this is where Uz going to be over here. And Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be over here at the end of the Dead Sea. Alright. So, you know, we know where that's at. Alright. So the fire coming out from heaven, coming down from heaven, you know, Almighty Yah was around till we Israelites broke the covenant. So ain't no telling what they done did to Job, you know. Something could have come out the heavens, just like it said, like the brimstones that came and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made of 3 bands, fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters, the ones that drank and party all the time, were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house. He didn't say nothing about his sons and daughters worshiping Almighty Yah, but that Job did, and how Job made sacrifices for them to try, you know, just in case they messed up. But they should have been worshiping Almighty Yah themselves, and how they just drank and partied all the time. So, you know, they was vulnerable and stuff because they didn't have Almighty Yah protection like Job did. You see how Almighty Yah told Satan that you can't put your hands on Job. You can get everything else, but don't kill him. You know, let me see. While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, thy sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then arose Job and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. You see what he did? No matter what, he was worshiping Almighty Yah. You know, even if his sons and daughters gone, Job was going to stick to the script, to the good plan. Let me see. And said, naked come I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. And the Elohim gave, and the Elohim had taken away. Blessed be the name of the Elohim. And all this Job saying not, nor charge Yah foolishly. Now, I believe that Almighty Yah gonna give Job some more children, and they gonna worship Almighty Yah in the end. Whereas the first ones didn't. Look, and there was a day when the sons of Yah come to present themselves before the Elohim, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Elohim. And the Elohim said unto Satan, from whence, it's the same story, but as it go down, man, that Satan has no power, or that this devil figure that everybody is scared of ain't got no power, and that how Almighty Yah ain't told us men to be scared of no devil when he gave us the covenant contract. But we see how Job, had problems, but his problems, come about his servants and his kids not believing in Almighty Yah. How did they just want to drink and party? So, disaster gonna fall on them, and then you gonna be vulnerable for a Satan or a devil or Lucifer if you ain't worshiping Almighty Yah. So, that's just common sense. That how if you ain't worshiping Almighty Yah, that all the bad elements and all the bad things in life can befall you. But Almighty Yah ain't tell us Israelites, men, to be scared and worried about no Satan. That how Almighty Yah told us about that Canaanite Amorite culture that we Israelites were supposed to destroy, and that's where our problems come from. Our problems come from that, and that how our problems didn't come from no devil or no Satan. But how that prophet Isaiah did say this, man, about a Satan and how he'll be kicked down to the ground, and that how he's a man that weaken the nations and so forth, and that we know that the nations are weakened because the Israelites are not doing the covenant that was once given by Almighty Yah. So we couldn't set the standard for the earth. The standard for the earth couldn't be set because us Israelites had broke the covenant and never did the covenant from the time that we got it. So a standard for the earth was never set. So, wickedness gonna reign. Wickedness gonna reign. And that's why we going through these hardships now. So we can get an understanding, of the things what Almighty Yah had once required. And all what Almighty Yah once required is that we worship Him, and that we Israelites didn't rob each other, and that we didn't kill each other, and that we honored our mothers and our fathers, and that how we ain't supposed to harm each other, and that's what Almighty Yah required, and that how our actions is more worse than the devil. Ain't no devil tearing our community up. It's us tearing it up. Ain't no devil doing no drive-bys. It's us doing the drive-bys. Ain't no devil selling no dope. Ain't no devil prostituting your sister. Ain't no devil breaking in your house that got horns. Man, this dude here ain't breaking in your house. He ain't breaking in your house. I'm just here to tell you, dude is not breaking in your house. If you see something like this, you gonna have a heart attack. They probably got something like this on the ground. So if you seen something like this, man, you gonna have a heart attack. You gonna give him everything you got. He ain't gonna even have to ask for it. You gonna give it to him. Now, ain't nothing like this robbing those stores, telling you, coming up to you to say, hey, go in there and rob that store. Ain't nothing, man, that's craziness. And then that's what the Canaanite culture got people believing, that something like this is whispering in folks' ears, telling them to do stuff. Whispering in your ear, telling you to go sell some dope to your sister, or prostitute your sister, or break in your brother's house, or kill your brother cause he looked at you. This thing ain't telling you to do that. And how you doing that, based upon the Canaanite, Amorite culture that we caught in, and how we been doing the evilness because of the Canaanite, Amorite culture, and that how ain't no devil telling you to do nothing. You can't find nowhere in Tanakh history where Almighty Yah it say, hey y'all, devil is gonna mislead you when you get into the promised land, and he got horns on his head, and you know he gonna mislead you. And man, it's craziness. You know, this what Almighty Yah said. You know, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, that thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah have driven thee. That we gonna call to mind the curses, and us going through the hardships that Almighty Yah said that we will go through. Not something that some old imaginary devil done put us through. That's like when them folks be trying to promote that devil stuff. Me and them folks trying to pull a fast one on you, because they trying to get away with some mischief, but blame it on some imaginary entity and stuff. Look, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations, among all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah have driven thee. See, ain't no devil driven us nowhere. And shall return unto the Elohim thy Yah, and obey his voice according to all that I commanded this day, thy children, and with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that the Elohim thy Yah will turn thy captivity and have compassion on thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah hath scattered thee. If any of them be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Elohim thy Yah gather thee, and from thence will the Elohim thy Yah fetch thee, and the Elohim thy Yah will bring thee into the land which the Elohim which thy fathers have possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Elohim thy Yah will circumcise then heart in the heart of thy seed to love the Elohim thy Yah with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Elohim thy Yah will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Elohim, and do all his commandments which I commanded. Alright, see, look, the curse is going to come up on our enemies. So our enemies is going to be real slick. You know, our enemies, we can see that cause all of these societal ills that we are going through. We can pinpoint who they is. We know who they is, but they got the people thinking that it's the devil that's doing it, when we know that it's the Amorite culture that's holding us back. That's holding us back. Man, it's the Amorite culture that's holding us back. It's the Amorite culture that's holding us back, and ain't no devil, doing this to us. Okay, so we see, that Almighty Yah, if you read the Tanakh, it'll tell you, look, this is Deuteronomy 31. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. And many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they shall say in that day, are not all these evils come upon us, because our Yah is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought in the day that they are turned unto other gods. Alright, see, you can turn to the fake gods of the Canaanites, in which is going to be those created gods and them hybrids and so forth. Them hybrids, and because they come from hybrids. And then if you believe in them gods and that type stuff, then, you're going to be subjected to Almighty Yah's punishment. That's just natural. But how ain't no devil telling you to do nothing. That all this stuff we make by choices. All this stuff we make by choices. and ain't no devil making us do nothing. And then how we Israelites broke the covenant for Egyptian Canaanite culture, and man, that doomed us. And how ain't no devil told us to do none of that stuff. But we know that it's a felon angelic beings. We know it's some felon angelic beings, some sons of YAH that had went into the daughters of man, and that wasn't no good thing. And then how that we could trace that to the Nephilims, to the Amorites, and the Amorites to the people that's controlling today, and the people that's controlling today, who we abandon our heritage to, got control over the whole Western culture. And then that's the devil. That's Satan. That's Satan right there. The people that got control over the Western culture, they got us imprisoned in it. They brung us here during the transatlantic slave trade, and then got us in this culture that we are locked in and can't get out. And that's the devil. That's the devil. But how the devil is not some imaginary thing flying around and stuff with some wings and all this stuff. And it's like the New Testament. The New Testament talk about the devil and Satan, but you Israelites have to understand that the New Testament is the people that occupied our land from the Mesopotamia area that created devils and hybrids and all that old type stuff, and that's where they was from. So if they settled in the promised land and they believed in God's sons and devils and dragons with chicken feet and heads and all that old stuff, and the same as the Egyptians, humans with alligator heads and snake heads, or snake with heels, all that stuff come from our enemies' culture. And then that's gonna be because that they were once descended from the fallen angelic beings. And we know that some of the cherubs in the Tanakh history, they got wings, and the servants of Almighty Yah, how that them creatures from outside this planet, and that how Almighty Yah could create anything outside this planet. And then it came here with him, and then our ancestors recorded it, and then how that our enemies, who are descended from a livestock that became the people today that are our enemies, the Amorites. And then that's where that hybrid culture come from, and them longing to create hybrids and so forth, because like I said, Babylon, man, it is where it started. Man, Babylon is gonna be like the old nation, the Tower of Babel and all that in the area and so forth. And then they had them hybrids and so forth. And then how did those hybrids, man, kind of, manifest into these type things. And this is their goal, is to make that type stuff. You see how they genetically altering the animals, man. We might have somebody that look like him right now, hiding somewhere, and it's possible because their goal is to bring hybrids back. Alright, Hebrews, I just want y'all to know that Almighty Yah ain't tell us in the Tanakh history to be worried about no Satan and no dude with no horns and stuff growing out his head. That he ain't tell us to be worried about that, and that how he told us to be worried about that Canaanite culture, and that Canaanite and Egyptian culture would destroy us. And this stuff is in the Canaanite culture and stuff. This stuff the Canaanites made up. They made this stuff up. This stuff is from their imagination, and they got all kind of people fooled by this foolishness and stuff, when it's the Canaanite culture that's causing all the problems. They caused us all the problems because we never destroyed the Canaanite culture. And Almighty Yah told us that if we didn't destroy the Canaanite culture, that it was gonna get us. And sure enough, that's what happened. Alright, Hebrews, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You know, I could read plenty more scriptures and read a whole lot of history on this, but, you know, as I say, you know, we Hebrews know Tanakh, and we know ain't nowhere in Tanakh history where Almighty Yah told us to be scared of a dude with some horns growing out his head. He ain't tell us to be scared of that. And he told us that the Canaanite culture would get us and be a snare to us. You know, the Canaanite culture and its gods. And that's all that stuff right there. Man, that stuff ain't nothing. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. We ain't believing in that old devil stuff. That old Canaanite Amorite trickery. That's Canaanite Amorite trickery, trying to blame the evilness from this system on something else. We ain't going.